Alright, P5, linear equations with two variables. This section should be fairly easy. Probably the hardest part of this section is some of the word problems. So we're going to go over them at the end as soon as we go through some stuff that hopefully you've seen and heard a few times before this. Slope-intercept form. Our favorite, y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, and the slope of the line we can find by using this little formula. M is equal to, if you're given 2 points, you can find the slope easily by doing y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Once again, these are interchangeable. If I want, some of you might have done y sub 1 minus y sub 2, x sub 1 minus x sub 2 before. That's perfectly fine, but you cannot mix and match the 1s and 2s, meaning this can't be 1, 2, 2, 1. Can't do that. No. It has to be same numbers on top. Okay? And these are referring to points x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2, whatever those points may be. Let's do some examples. We're going to give you 2 points, and we need to find the slope and plot them. Let's say we got negative 2, 1, and negative 4, negative 5. And let's also, well, we'll just worry about this for now. So slope 1 minus negative 5 over negative 2 minus negative 4. That'll get us 6 over 2, because these become pluses. And then it's going to get us a slope of 3. Now let's plot. Negative 2, 1, and negative 4, 5. And there we go. Slope is 3. Remember, slope being positive, little reminder, slope being positive means it's as x is increasing, y is increasing. And when slope's negative, that means as x is increasing, y is decreasing. Let's do a second equation here. Let's just find the slope and y-intercept given 2x plus 3y equals 9. In order to find out what the slope and y-intercept are, we need to get it in slope-intercept form. That's going to help us. So I'm going to subtract 2x first. 3y equals negative 2x plus 9. Divide by 3. You get y is equal to negative 2 over 3x plus 3. So based off the equation, what we learned in the last slide, what do we know? Negative 2 or 3 is our slope, and your y-intercept is equal to 3. Here we got point slope form. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times quantity x minus x sub 1. X sub 1, y sub 1. That's referring to whatever point I'm giving you. M is still the slope. That hasn't changed. This is used if I give you a point and a slope, and it's named point slope form, you can find an equation for your linear function. Let's do an example. Let's say I got, let's go with 10, negative 6. As an example, 10, negative 6, and I'll give you a slope of negative 1. I want you to find the slope-intercept form given this information. We got y minus a negative 6 equals negative times the quantity x minus 10. Double negatives make it a plus right there, so y plus 6 is equal to, I'm going to shoot that negative sign to both terms, be negative x plus 10. Subtract 6, y equals negative x plus 4. There is your slope-intercept form of the equation. Oh, cool. Parallel and perpendicular lines. Now, what makes lines parallel or perpendicular? Well, for parallel, they have slopes that are equal to each other. Two lines that have the same slope. Uh, Perpendicular lines have what you might have heard of as called opposite reciprocal, meaning if you take one of the slopes, you flip it, meaning if it's 1/2, it's now 2, if it's 3, it's now 1/3, and you change the sign. How your book writes it, which I never see many people write it like this, which is interesting. We have two slopes. That means you can flip it and change a sign. So they wrote it like this, and I think it's a nifty way to check to see if they're perpendicular or not. Simply taking a slope and -1 over that slope and seeing if it's the same thing, which is an interesting way of thinking about it. Like it. So here's an example with an equation, and let's use the points -2/3, comma 7/8, because we're not always going to get nice whole numbers all the time, right? And what the directions are going to be are find the slope-intercept forms of the equation of the lines given this point, and we want to find parallel to this line and perpendicular to this line. So there's going to be two parts. We want to find the equation parallel that goes through this point, and then perpendicular goes through this point. So two different problems here. Parallel. Let's first find out what the slope is if it's parallel. So I'm going to subtract 3x to both sides, and then divide by 4. Okay, so the slope for parallel is going to be -3/4. Perpendicular, we flip it and change the sign, so it'll be 4/3. So I'm going to use point slope form to start, and then we're going to move it to slope intercept form. Slope's -3/4, x plus 2/3. That's going to get us y minus 7/8, distribute to -3/4, and that's going to get us minus, multiply numerators and denominators together, it's going to be -6/12, which reduces down to 1/2. That worked out nice. Then add the 7/8, and we're going to get 3/8. So it'd be y equals -3/4x plus 3/8. Now time for perpendicular. So we got to flip it. We did some of the hard part. So y minus 7/8 equals 4/3 is our slope because we flip it and change the sign as we said. Times quantity x plus 2/3. Distribute 4/3 to both terms. And that's going to get us 4/3x plus 8/9. Add the 7/8 to both sides. It's going to give us an ugly fraction. Y equals 4/3x. 8/9 plus 7/8. That will get us 127/72. Get a common denominator, that's what you'll end up with. Alright, word problem time. Applications. On our guided notes, I have the word problems written out. They will all be along these lines in some way. They're all using linear equations. The first one is about interpreting what the linear equation means. I'll read it off, and if you have your guided notes, it's all written right there. The following are the slopes of the lines representing annual sales y in terms of x years. Use the slope to interpret any change in annual sales for a 1-year increase in time. So part A says, what does it mean when the line has a slope of m equal to 135? If you have a slope of m equal to 135, that means sales are increasing by 135 each year. by 135 a year. Part B asks for what if the slope has m equal to 0? That means we have no change in sales. When the slope is 0, it's just a horizontal line, no change happening. And C, what slope is m equal to negative 40? That means sales are decreasing. By 40 a year. Whatever 40 is, we're going to assume it's dollars. By $40 a year. And finally, we have a word problem that says a school district purchases a high-volume printer, copier, and scanner for $25,000. After 10 years, the equipment will have to be replaced. Its value at that time is expected to be $2,000 after 10 years. Write a linear equation given the value, V, of the equipment during the 10 years it will be in use. I'm going to have you do this problem on your own. Haha. Little tip, though. Think about the problems we did earlier where I gave you 2 points. You might want to use that idea to find maybe the slope and then use the slope in one of the points to write an equation. Okay? So think about what this word problem says as far as what the 2 points are with I would say you should probably think about years and time, right? Time being an input, and then the output, of course, being the value V. Okay? Hope that helped. We'll see you in class. Please submit your answer to this on MyMV. I will give you a little submission area for P5. Thank you. See you later.